Hi, Kings Mountain. We're back with you again with the updates with the city manager. I'm your city manager, Jim Palaniuk, and we've got a very exciting announcement today. We did a video almost a year ago now in which we talked about just how successful the city was at getting grant dollars from various federal and state agencies and the opportunity to use those funds to reinvest in infrastructure and other improvements and amenities and facilities here in the city of Kings Mountain that meant that city taxpayers and city ratepayers didn't specifically have to pay for those costs. We talked at the time about how many millions of dollars have come from various grants along the way. Well, today we have a very, very exciting announcement in that same regard in terms of yet another very, very significant, very large grant award. So we can tell you that effective as of today, which is October the 23rd, the federal government, through the Biden-Harris administration, through their recent infrastructure improvement law, have just announced some very large grants that are designed to improve and enhance natural gas distribution systems. And this comes to us through the Department of Transportation, and it is the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. The acronym for that is PHMSA. So just about $200 million of grants have just been announced nationwide, and the city of Kings Mountain will be receiving $9,609,485 in grant awards through this program. So, of course, this program is remarkably transformational to the city of Kings Mountain. When you think about it, this is the only such grant award made to any community in the state of North Carolina. And in fact, it is the third largest award to any community in the entire United States. The city of Philadelphia, which has 1.5 million population, received $39.9 million. The city of Richmond, Virginia, over 250,000 in population, received $15.7 million. And the third largest award comes to the city of Kings Mountain, North Carolina, with our population of just over 11,500 people, with almost $10 million. So obviously we're very excited about this. So now to give us a little background as to kind of how we arrived at this and what it really means for the future, I am joined by my Energy Services Director here, Wayne Ledbetter. Wayne is responsible not only for the gas utility, but our electric utility as well. So Wayne, this grant is unbelievable. It's transformational. It's going to mean so much to this community and to the gas utility. How did we ultimately get here? I mean, to be one of so few and to get so many dollars through this program. How did you go about finding this program and how did we get here?
So the city utilizes one of our partners in Magnolia River, and they are constantly scanning the market for any available funds and aid that municipalities can reach out and try to obtain. Luckily, we were one that fit the bill with what we needed to accomplish in our system.
And that's the key, from what I understand, almost $10 million. In large measure, this is almost going to completely rebuild your system, isn't it? Tell us what this really means for the system.
So, in fact, ultimately, we have a little over 100 miles of main throughout the city.
Mm-hmm.
This project is forecasted to replace approximately 23 miles of that.
Wow. So I guess quick math, that's almost 25%, obviously 23% of your entire system. And then there's a whole series of regulator stations that will be replaced as well, right?
Correct. We get to modernize those and bring them up to standard, which they're not out of compliance or standard by any means, but it gets to modernize our system and gives us a lot of capability to acquire new large users, certainly accommodate for any growth that we see in the future, which in recent studies we've had performed on our systems, electric and gas, we're going to be impacted. So we're being really proactive in what we're doing here.
And of course, this is really about safety as well, right? The type of material that you're replacing this with and the way you'll build it, it will be a lot safer than the old system, right?
Correct. We identified our steel piping as legacy, and nothing's currently wrong with it, no safety hazards, and it's certainly compliant, but we're wanting to replace it due to being 70 years of age.
And so I think it would be fair to say that almost $10 million that this community, these ratepayers, will not have to pay as a result of this grant. Because ultimately, as you talk about legacy, and it was that old, these kinds of reinvestments would have had to take place, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it would have been incrementally proportioned out that we do this, and this may have taken us 10, 12 years to do.
So I just find this truly remarkable that a community this small could get this large of a grant. When you compare us to some of these other grants that literally only the city of Philadelphia and the city of Richmond got larger awards than we did. So kudos to you and your team. It's remarkable what you accomplished. I don't want to lose sight too of, just the fact that on the electric side, you received $822,000 also from the federal government to put in electric charging stations for electric vehicles. So it just seems like Energy Services is really paving the way when it comes to being energy efficient, finding ways to reinvest in the system, and just doing the kind of things that are looking to the future in a very strategic way.
That is the ultimate goal, is to levy what options we can and what technologies is out there and do it at the least expense that we can.
And that's really exciting, and I think that is a great model for the rest of our team, for the rest of our organization, and we're going to continue to stress that as we move forward. But again, congratulations to Energy Services, and we look forward to, tell us a little though before we end, once the grant work starts, about how long from start to finish will this project take?
We proposed that it would take somewhere between, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years ultimate, and a lot of that has to do with the lead time of materials, and that's also impacted by the devastation left from Hurricane Helene across the country. So if all goes well, anywhere from 2 to 3 years would be the time frame.
But that is from literally inception, first design to last
Correct.
restoration.
That's correct.
Okay. And in any way, will this be disruptive to the community, or will you be able to operate the system and do this with minimal disruption?
So the system will operate as normal, no impacts there.
Okay.
There will be traffic concerns to be expected with that kind of work going on. We're looking at, across the city, a total of 750 services that'll be impacted,
Okay.
meaning they will be replaced and updated. So there will be individual, but it'll be scheduled outages that we have. So nothing unexpected that we can forecast, and we'll plan accordingly to mitigate as much as we can.
And because this award notification is so new, we don't even know yet when we might be able to begin this. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. And from what we were told, high level, we could have awards granted by the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
So that would be good. Beginning of Q1 25, we could start work.
Excellent. So we'll look forward to that. You also mentioned something I'm sure a lot of people are interested in, the Hurricane Helene, because obviously that meant a lot, particularly to the electric utility. Here we are now on October the 23rd. What can you tell us about the electric system and where you are today versus when that storm first hit?
Well, luckily we are back up to being normal. So in our region, being normal for here is great. We're doing an ongoing in-depth look at our system as always. That's what we do daily. And we're just being proactive and getting ahead of our pole inspection that we're going to have here soon. And we're trying to identify any areas that we can get ahead of and start working, and trying to eliminate some of those unscheduled outages or impacts in certain areas for customers.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something important. When you talk about pole inspection or inspection of anything, that's really to determine, the overall quality, useful life of those things, when they have to be replaced, and then always be ahead of sort of that preventative maintenance so that, again, you don't have the kind of outages as a result of the equipment, but you're always reinvesting in the system. So very forward-looking. It's great to see that that's occurring, and that's just an ongoing practice. That'll always go on, right?
That is correct. Any pole in our system that's 10 years or older, it goes through that process of inventory, which we call inventory, meaning we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to have up-to-date data, so we'll know what's attached, who's attached, if it's got a street light, the street light's number, and so on. So it's really, we're trying to achieve at the fingertip data, so to speak.
And then once a pole gets to a certain age, I would assume it needs to be replaced at some point. Is that correct?
Ultimately, that's the end result.
And similarly for transformers and other kinds of system components, would that be the
Correct.
the
We're
case?
looking at everything from insulators and the hardware associated with all the way to the transformer.
Excellent. And that again is just about reliability and service, so that again people can rely on it, that it's going to be there, and that it won't have those kind of problems.
That is correct.
So again, really excited. Hometown electric utility, hometown gas utility, leveraging a lot of other people's money, the federal government, the state government, foundations, whatever we can come up with. And this is just another example, almost $10 million for the gas utility. Thanks to Wayne Ledbetter. Thanks to your team. Thanks to Magnolia River. Look forward to a really exciting couple of years as we move forward.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
That has been Updates with the City Manager. I'm your City Manager, Jim Palaniuk. Until next time, see you, Kings Mountain.